Like that's just right, this is the stream for round 3 of ALR Esports Season 7. Welcome everyone joining us at this point in time. We're very quickly going to set up the announcements at this point in time. That way I can have the post ready to go. Yeah, we got a pretty good one today, to be honest with you. Watkins, Glen, always one of those tracks that are going to provide great racing, a lot of tyre strategy questions as well. So a very tyre heavy track, that's a certain. GT7 driver, GT7. There you go, the Esports League tags, they're all set to go, so whenever Jack gets his stream up is whenever I will sort out that post. The couple, hopefully have that sorted. Right, so we've got 5 teams in Lobby A for qualifying. We'll have 13 people in the lobby right now, 12 of which have sorted themselves out. Run through the teams as we go along. So we've got NWR, who are 2 of the 3 people we are waiting for. Lewis with S7R Monkeys and Inkyo, the 3 driving today. I'm pretty sure that is a debut for 2 of the 3 in this season. Inkyo is going with the GT18, waiting and seeing on what the other 2 do when they get in. We know Lewis is in the Supra, but we don't know what SR7 are currently, well, the SR7 driver driving for NWR tonight is going to show up in. We've got 3 for ITM after a great day from Kepler and Alessandro. Neither of them are racing tonight. So we've got Emery on his debut today. So it's ITM EZM in the GTR 18. We've got Montecat in the AMG 20 and Nukenfer in the GTR as well. That Lewis has just joined the room. Those who just joined the stream, can you hear me clear enough? Loud enough? I have to adjust my mic a little bit. For just double checking a couple of things, I'm actually also going to do my own mic check. Yeah, we'll go through the other 3 teams in a split second. But yeah, so the other 3 teams, we've got Project 1 Racing. We'll go to these guys next. The Dark Knight joining us for a 3rd week in a row in the GTR 18. Then we've got Kevin. I'm not sure if this is the first time for Kevin tonight, or whether or not it's his 2nd race, but he is in the AMG 20, and P1R Jake is joining us for the first time also in that AMG 20. And we've got Project Platypus as per normal in for the three that they're joining us with today. BX in the 458, Perry in the Nissan GTR 18, and then you've got Zico also in the GTR 18 as well. And then you've got FGR, who are joining us with Millis in the M6, Attengren in the RTZ, as we saw he drove in the first week, and Fresh Dumbledore, who is joining us for the first time. Actually, I think this is his ALR debut, full stop. So he's in the M6, so we'll see what FGR brought with them today. It is currently 8 o'clock. I'm just waiting for a post from Jack. It should have already started. But yeah, once that goes in, we'll start. Once that announcement goes in, we'll start. Monkus is in as well. There you go. He's in the GTR 18. Alright, just turned 8:01. I'm going to put in a starting soon, just so everyone is aware. Then we'll get going. Just waiting on the stream starting so I can put that message into the chat first. Apologies for waiting on that. Alright. You know what? Well, we'll start here, and then we can go as we go along with the other. We'll go with the other two as we go along. Once I see that post be put in. Actually, there's the post right there. So now I can set up the tag in the actual announcements. Given that that's now set up. Beautiful. One last check of the settings here, and we can get going. So, welcome to everyone who chose to join us tonight. Watkins Glen, 37 laps of racing will be done after the qualifying session, which we are going to currently head into. I'm not sure why the weather's just popped up. It cannot rain for some reason. Just designated as the state in the states it cannot rain, so we don't have to worry about that. Who is going to be the first one out tonight then? Who are we dealing with first? It looks like it's going to be Kevin, the light blue of Project 1 Racing. So it's Kevin first out, then it's Dark Knight after that. I think Miller's the car that got out third or fourth. 5-second penalty for Lewis. Is he the Ocon of ALR now? Is that what we're assigning him? Right, so Kevin's the first one out. We'll stick with him for now then. As per, well, I like to keep it on the first person out so we can watch their out lap and then their flying lap as well. For those who aren't aware of how everything works by now. So we are currently on week 3 of an 8-week season. The top 6, well, the top 5 after week 6 will go into what is known as Lobby A. And we'll fight for double points in slightly longer races, but that will come probably middle of December time. Everyone is currently fighting for those positions, however. The top 5 are in very good position at the moment, but obviously we're only 2/3 of the way through the qualifying stage. So it's got to be pedal to the floor essentially the entire way for the next 4 or 5 weeks for all of these teams. NWR have got off to a blistering start. I think it's a 40-point gap they currently hold to FGR in second. FGR looking to be the first team in ALR history to three-peat anything in the server. They're going to have to go through something special at the moment. However, with the way that NWR have started, they've got a lot of backup as well. A lot of other teams looking to try and put their names on the map. Project Platypus haven't won since Season 3. They're looking to return to former glory. And then you've also got the likes of ITM, new onto the scene in ALR, looking to put themselves in with a chance as well. So we'll see how everything continues to unfold here. We're seeing how it's all going. What do you mean, come on, Pyro? What have I done? I've posted the announcements. We got through how everything is going at the moment. I'm confused. Why are people saying my name? Well, Lobby A's already started, so you're gonna have to deal with it. I can't get whacked to start the other lobby. That's not how this works. Kevin going to the line now. Got a couple of corners left in this sector just to see what the benchmark time is tonight. Kevin third, Dark Knight second at the moment. Kevin 43.9 then. 3/10 of a second quicker than his teammate. Zico beats him out by about a about 100th of a second. Lewis only good enough for 4 right now, with Millis going over in the lead. The 43.7 currently pole position. They continue on. BX just gone to the line. 44.4, 43.8 for Henry as we start. Monkey to the 43.7, I think that was. I think he'd gone into second. He's about half a tenth behind Monkiss even. He got a second penalty. He's got about half a tenth to go to Millis, who's currently in the lead. 44.2 for Inkyo as well. So penalties flying left, right and centre. Kempron doing a 44.7 at the moment. This is the big one, considering people have flagged this name up to me so far this week. We'll see what he's got in the tank, given the fact that it's supposedly supposed to be one of the ones that NWR have in the back pocket. They have Jensen, they have Mumu, they have Lewis, that we know the 3 we're familiar with. One of those 3 are driving tonight. The other 2 are not. Looked like, I believe Jensen broke his rig earlier on in the week, so we don't know how long he's going to be out for. Penalty there for Monkiss. And Henry have both just served their penalties. Millis going to the line as well. So is there anyone going for an actual time here? Is this a pit stop? Oh, Zico snapping the car just a little bit. The Dark Knight up into pole then. 300th quicker than Millis on the lap. And it's our first 43.6 of the night. As I said before, we were looking to see if someone can make a name for themselves. It might be Project One Racing that does that tonight. 1 and 4 to start with. 43.8 for Jake. Dumbledore did a 44.0 then. Who are we looking for on track here then for a potential lap time? The Kempfriend's going into the pits, so he will jump in and jump straight back out. Who are we waiting over? Who are we looking at in terms of the next one to the line? That's it, into the pits as well. We know the Dark Knight just finished a lap. Currently 6.25 minutes through the session. He's got more than enough time to pit and then potentially go for at least one more, if not two more. That could be very interesting as we go down the line. We've got 25 people in watching. I hope everyone is... Oh, someone's round! Someone's round! It's Jake! Jake is the wrong way round on this track right now as his teammate goes on through. That was Kevin going on past. I'll go the lap there for Jake, because I can only assume the pit stop will come for him. That's a slide for the Dark Knight. May have just crossed the yellow line. We'll keep an eye out on that. Miller's on an outlap. So is... actually, no, Monkiss is not an outlap at the moment, actually. Let's see what he's doing. No, he's 2 seconds down, so... Nothing going for him at the moment. Currently in third, less than a tenth off pole. I assume it's a pit stop coming now for the GTR. It is. The burgundy red GTR into the pit. Zico just about to start his flying lap, so let's stick with him. Let's keep an eye out on Zico then. Been a while since we've seen a Project Platypus driver take control of any sort of session. BX got second last week, but that session was thoroughly dominated by the NWR drivers. And BX was allowed to exist and, well, made Jensen pay as a result of that being the case. Zico currently a 10th and some change up. 1.5 tenths would be enough to take it within half a tenth of pole position. The top 6 split by 2 tenths to a second right now, so anybody improving can steal a pole position from right under the nose of the Dark Knight. No Aura, no Jensen, no Moo tonight, so we'll see who can step up in their place. Realistically, the one name that screams out to me is Millis, usually is, one that takes advantage of this sort of situation, which FGR desperately need right now. Zico's currently 3 tenths up, so we've been on him. He's looking to be a good person to watch right now. That benchmark, that 43.6, looks like it's about to be shattered by the Project Platypus driver, who just knocked the car just a little bit on the exit there. 3 tenths up still good enough for pole by quite some margin. Still has a 10th in hand at the very least. Again, just didn't look too natural through the final corner as he roll up to the line with Zico to the 43.707 and is beat out by Lewis straight away. Miller's to the line now. It's not an improvement for Millis, who will have one more shot at this. Monkiss is on outlap. Henry is not. To the line goes Henry. Not an improvement. And Kevin's got a penalty right at the end there. We'll see if Fresh... Actually, BX has got a half-second penalty, so that's not going to be great for him. 43.3 in Lobby B right now. Oh, well, pole might not even come from Lobby A for the first time. I genuinely do think that's the first time. 90% sure, and that's never happened before. BX to the line. BX only good enough for 12th. Who else was over the line there? That was New Kempfren, who's going to be out of the lobby as well then. The Dark Knight, the next one over. I'm going to very quickly take the opportunity to actually sort out my keyboard. So we continue to watch on in qualifying here. Right now, 43.3. Misha was the one that set that time. Mumu from Lobby B, fair enough. Dark Knight does better, but it's not being good enough to beat Lewis, who's got a penalty. So we'll go on to Zico's point of view, who is not quicker. So Millis after that, with a glorious opportunity to set the fastest time in Lobby A, if he can do it. 43.3 is what Misha's done. He ain't able to beat that, but he is able to set a Lobby A pole anyway. 43.4 right now is the best time in the lobby. Watkins, speed start, 43.399. I still don't think that's good enough to beat Misha's time. Yeah, it's not. It's going to be about 200ths of a second short. 43.7 for Ate as we continue to see people over the line now. The last one over, Montecat 44.3. So Monkey stood the best time in Lobby A, but I don't think that's pole. One of the very, very rare occasions we might be seeing someone from a different lobby at the top of the entire qualifying standings. It is not a common sight in the slightest. Millis in second in this lobby A. Then we got Lewis in third to add the penalty. The Dark Knight fourth, Zico fifth, Emery sixth for ITM. Then we got Ati in seventh, Jake in eighth, Perry in ninth, Kevin in 10th, Inkyo in 11th, Dumbledore in 12th, BX in 13th, who is desperately under fire now. Montecat in 14th, and Newkempfrin, who are definitely out of this lobby. Because we know that Misha's got pole, provided nothing wackety has happened in Lobby C. So we know that one of these drivers from Lobby A has to be the one that drops out. So New is going to be that person. I'm pretty sure Montecat is under fire as here in this position as well, to be completely honest with you. The real question is, who else is under fire? Because if there's a 43 3 in Lobby B, then it would be very surprising to see no improvements at all from the rest of that grid. Cap to second is 1.1. Oh. That's insane. Okay, so Misha's going to be the only one that joins us from Lobby B then. The next one's 44.4. And for reference, that doesn't put anyone above Monster Cat. We have to keep an eye out on how everything's going in the other lobbies. Obviously, Lobby B is, I believe, is the one being streamed right now with Jack. If you want to very quickly take a look at that. I have a friend's request, apparently, that I did not see. I'll take care of that as we see that now. I'm not sure why Perry's left the room. From 9th, I'd be very surprised if he's going to drop out. Not very common we see that many people drop from Lobby A. Last week was the exception, not the rule. I got tagged in the chat as well. I was by BX, so it's all fine. So we're just going to wait here for a bit and figure out how everything is kind of unfolding in the other lobbies that we've got currently. There are some very interesting surprises at the moment, but again, NWR on top of this lobby. Not on top overall though. Misha for Live Cabin Crew, it's not the name I would have put on poll. That's a certain. Any update? Anyone got any updates on the opposite lobby? Or on one of the other lobbies at the moment? No improvements whatsoever Misha bottle the 43-2. Damn. Damn indeed. We'll see how everything continues to follow on. I'm not sure why Perry left. .43.3 is second in Lobby B, which puts them on target with Monster Cat then. Yeah, that's going to be rough. It's going to be very, very rough, realistically. That time actually does beat out Monster Cat. So it means we will lose Monster Cat at the very least then as well. Which makes this very, very, very interesting then. As we continue getting updates from the other groups. Said Lobby B just been sent to me by Lord Hans, so I'll run through that. So from Lobby C, rather, I guess, is from Wax, from what Klinger was updating us in. But the other lobby, 43-4 from Panic Potato, who beats out Dino by a quarter of a second. Dino 43-7, 3-0. Then we got Cameron Kaboom on 43-7, 4-0. 100 splitting those two. Yannick on a 43-9, good enough to be in here as well. And Kanabi 44-1. That puts them just ahead of BX. So BX is going to lose out from this lobby then. The top four should be good enough to be in here at the very least. 5, 6, 7 all split by about 3/10ths of a second. An entire 10th splits 5th from 8th in Lobby B. Panic Potato is going to be back in here once again. Wax sent me a message of what happened in Lobby C. So yeah, it's what Klinger was saying. Misha 43-3-7-3 actually is going to be good enough for pole then. So it is going to be Misha on pole. It's going to be Monkus in second. I think it's Panic Potato in third. 4-6-8 does beat out Millis. I think it is Panic Potato in third. Millis in fourth. And then it'll be Lewis in fifth. Dark Knight in sixth. Zico in seventh. Dino in eighth. Emery in ninth, I think. And then Cameron after that. So Liv Racing Cameron finally has some presence. Some very strong Lobby A presence on show tonight. So they look to get their season off and running properly for the first time. Perry has rejoined the lobby. I'm not entirely sure how long he'll be here for, though, to be honest with you. Perry did a 43-8. Did beat out 3 in Lobby B. They've obviously got 1 coming from Lobby C as well. So that's 4 ahead of Perry. So that's not enough to knock Perry out. Perry should actually still be in with us. The real question is, what side of the 40 marker, or 44 marker, is going to be in this lobby? I think it's going to be that 43-9 from Kevin that might be the marker. Or the 43-9 from Yannick. I'm not sure which side. I'm pretty sure the side of the barrier is going to sit on the lower end of that 43. We got the actual tie. It is going to be Kevin that sits at the bottom of the lobby. And that's going to be very interesting then. So we do have a 43 that won't be in Lobby A. Yannick going to get a little bit screwed out of it by the looks of things. It is Misha, followed by Monkeys, followed by Panic Potato, then Millis, then Lewis as your top 5. And then almost essentially, as I said it was, Project 1 Racing are actually the only team. Yeah, they are legitimately the only team with all of their drivers able to make it into Lobby A. Wow. I was not sure I'd be saying that, but they're going to enjoy that sentence for as long as they can ride it out for. We are going to alter this. Put custom weather on with the ×1 tire speed. Got some Panic Potato fans in the chat. Ah, fuck. Yep, I knew I missed. I missed one. I've missed a setting because I needed to put it on the ability for me to set the grid. So I'm gonna need people to not do a thing, but yep. All right, that should allow for everyone to join the lobby as they should. I mean, it looks like we've got everyone in already. We're just waiting on Monkeys joining. We got the 14 people in. I can now start setting the grid. So where is Misha? Misha, not the one I would expect in the say, to be honest with you. Actually, Misha is for 9 PP. Pegasus on pole, eh? That's not something I've seen in a while. Yeah, I was about to say 9 PP is going to come in and correct me. First pole for Pegasus, sorry. I say PP for Project Platypus. But first pole for Pegasus since season 1. That's how big of a statement that is that Misha just put up, by the way. For those who aren't, all that caught up on the ALR lore. That has not happened since the very first season of this. A reminder, we are now in season 7. And also got an Apex in P3 because the South Africans have started to, well, the South African teams are starting to make a name for themselves. Millis in 4th, Lewis in 5th, the Dark Knight after that in 6th. Then it's Zico in 7th. Then it's Dino in 8th. I haven't had to commentate on Dino in a while. In 9th it is Henry. Let's have a look. There you go. He's at M. And then in 10th it is Cameron. In 11th Barton Gren. And then we've got Seagull in 12th, Perry in 13th, and Kevin riding at the back of the grid. So we are good to go. Also just I will very much put myself back on the stream so I can see the commentators, so that I can see the names and everything that is going on. Yeah, got some Panic fans in the chat. We've got some Pegasus fans in the chat there. I think that's their first showing in Lobby A as well this season. So if you're going to have that, I guess this is a good time to really put that together. TNR name being flashed up a few times. Hey, we're not saying no. If TNR wants to join us at some point, feel free. At the moment, Panic Potato is going to be driving under the Apex banner. But for now, we're going to start soon. Everyone is readied in. I believe that everyone should be on the track pretty much. In 10, we will get this show on the road. Giving people enough time. Oh yeah, I'm aware how late it is in South Africa. We've had a few of the South Africans in here before. We know that. We know that's all what that's all about by this point. We appreciate everyone staying up as late as possible to join us. But we got 4, 5 red lights at Watkins. Glen is lights out. Away we go. Misha has got off to a horrible start. It is not, there's no reaction time whatsoever as Monkus hits the front straight away. We've got a lot of the headlights going down towards turn 1. And Misha is going to be a little bit deep. Misha's trying to get herself back in front. All the way to second place. Lewis is trying to get to the inside. Monkus hits the front straight away. He's going to be difficult to get away from now. And all of a sudden, NWR are in a great position again. They're the penalty in the back of the field. I'm not sure who that's for. We're going too wide out front with Misha and Monkus. Monkus looking to the inside, defending the inside and stays ahead of Misha for Pegasus. But Lewis still ahead of Millis, who's in 4th. And Paddy Potato with the one of the penalties, not in the back of the field. And it's in 5th place. So we've got the Dark Knight in 6th. Then we've got Zico in 7th. Kevin in 8th. A good start for Kevin. Starting from 14th all the way up into the midfield. Emery in 9th. And then Ate's in 10th. For the penalty. Cameron's got a penalty in 11th. Perry's in 12th. Dino in 13th. For Jacobs at the back of the grid. Can we see what happened to this group of people? No, we cannot. It's too late. That is a shame. We'll go back to the front then with Monkus and Misha still fighting it out for the lead. Misha doing the quickest time overall in qualifying or gained some points in that regard for Pegasus. But for now, it's Monkus that has advantage in the race itself. Dino is off the track early. We know that Jake is off the track early. We don't know if they were connected. Misha just dropping off the back of Monkus at the moment. There's Lewis Miller's Dark Knight is up in the 5th. Zico in 6th. Then we've got Kevin in 7th. Emery in 8th. Panic Potato down in 9th after his penalty. Perry in 10th. Bate in 11th after their penalty. And Cameron said one as well. Dino is back up to the pack. And Jake is about to join them. 8/10 of a second advantage at the front of the grid. Trying to keep as much of the battles in as possible with Lewis and Millis. Millis looking finally to make an advance on a move. And Millis is up in a 3rd. Overtaking Lewis, and F. John needed that. They need NWR to falter as many positions as they possibly can in this race. Millis and Ate have to put on a show just to start clawing back that 40-point advantage. The Dark Knight, and then we've got Emery and Kevin. They're side by side now, and Emery's in front. Let's see how that happened. Looked like Emery just looking potentially to that inside line. Oh, Kevin got caught sleeping, trying to go after Zico, and that is what caught the move for Emery, and Emery takes full advantage of that. A little bit fighting back. Panic Potato trying to go after Kevin now, and not able to succeed. The Dutchman hanging on by a thread. Also trying to go after Emery, the Italian motorsport team, trying to keep themselves in a much better stead than Ferrari did earlier on. See if Emery's got any sort of follow-up to the move that Emery did on Kevin, on Zico, down towards turn 1. The Italian team motorsport driver just trying to move his way forward at the moment. Not able to get past Zico for now. Kevin not able to make any advances in return either. But Kevin's got a half-second penalty now, so Panic Potato has an opportunity to take advantage and retake one of the positions he lost at the beginning of this race. The half-second penalty is going to cost him Henry looks to the inside. Doesn't really. Oh, Zico! I think Zico has just disappeared. Zico dropped all the way to the 14th. We're going to get a second version of what happened on that. Get a camera angle that might have been a reset. To the line, into the inside. Oh, he caught it! He caught it and got reset. Atted got a half-second penalty and all the madness. But Zico got reset on the corner. Jake got a penalty. Dino's got a penalty. Cameron's got a... Who the hell? What the hell happened in the back? Everyone's got a penalty. Atted got a half-second as well. So Zico's going to get a chance to catch right back up. I'm not entirely sure what happened to everybody. Kevin obviously served his half-second as well. Looked like Zico just caught the edge of the corner and got reset the result. Oh, Perry's off the track now. Perry off the track as Kevin goes past. Date goes past, and I don't think Perry will be too happy with that one. Project Platypus having a really bad day at the office. And we go back to see what everything else. Panic Potato up in the 7th now. Takes advantage of the move on Kevin. Takes the advantage on the move on Perry. And up a couple of places that he lost at the beginning of the race. Going further forward, Lewis is still not able to challenge Miller, who is not able to challenge Mishu, who's cleared to second. But Monkis is well and truly gone. 1.9 seconds, 2 seconds now. The advantage at the front for NWR. Jensen, I would like to point out earlier in the week, said that Monkis was not going to stat pads by choosing a car that was at the front. He'd gone in the GTR 18, so I don't know how much Jensen was telling the truth there, to be completely honest with you. 43.1, Monkis doing better than his qualifying time in both the last 2 laps. Soft to start with Misha on soft as well. Soft saw Millis and Lewis, and the Dark Knight is right on the back of Lewis now, so we might have a little bit of a fight going on there. We've got softs for Emery in 6th with Panic Potato on soft as well. Did everyone start on the soft in this race? I look to think the answer is yes. And the answer would be yes, actually. Jensen said he told him to go into the Silhouette or the Mazda, but he didn't listen. Well, and now he's ended in the GTR 18, so he definitely is in one of the better cars. He's taking full advantage of it at the moment. Lewis not able to really hang on to the back of Millis right now. Nisha just driving on her own, trying to hang with Monkis the best she can. Well, that didn't look great for Millis. I don't know if there was full 4 wheels left on the coloured curb there. Looks like the gate's not going to punish him for it either way, so he's going to survive for now. Well, 0.5 of a second splitting these two. The Dark Knight right on the back of Lewis behind as well. And we got Emery ahead of Panic Potato. Kevin's got another half-second penalty. Now bring Ate into this fight then. We got Perry in 10th for 10th, second back. Cameron 11th, Jake in 12th, Dino in 13th. Okay. Oh, Kevin's round! Kevin's round and someone else is off the track, and we need to figure this out really quick here. Oh, Kevin just could not keep control of the car, and Ate, oh, he just got caught up. He just got caught up. And Ate's going to lose 1, 2, 3 positions as a result of all that. That is really unfortunate. It looks like Dino has got past Ate in total now as well. Ate looking straight back. Can he fight to the inside against Dino? He absolutely can. And he will absolutely take the position for now anyway. Dino is going to dive in straight back. That's what Dino does. A little bit of contact on the way through. And Dino has got himself back in front. And Dino hangs on to 11th like his life depended on that. Looking, trying to get things sorted. You can see Perry gaining that couple of places back he lost earlier on. Cameron inheriting a couple as well. Jake looking to try and get himself involved in the top 10 for the first time. Panic is also up in a 6 now. Just picking people off left and right because Emery has dropped behind them. And we got Lewis still ahead of the Dark Knight, still behind Miller, nothing changed there. Misha has gained an entire second back on Monkis on the last lap. 45.2 was the time for Monkis, 44.1 was the time for Misha. So Misha is just starting to claw that gap all the way back in. Let's see if there's going to be anything in this. It looks like Millis is just starting to get away from Lewis now because Lewis is just starting to falter. 8 tenths of a second now, that advantage. The Dark Knight really has an opportunity if he can get one good exit to really put the pressure onto Lewis now. Again, Lewis going all the way out, just playing with fire a little bit at this point. You can see he's under pressure, and as I was saying, he was playing with fire. The game didn't like it. It looked like he had all 4 on. The game didn't think so. He got half a second worth of penalty to the result now. Will be taken on the next lap because that's the penalty line is already gone for this one. It's already on at the end of sector 3. So we'll have to wait and see how this next lap unfolds then. 1.8 now the lead in this race. Misha didn't look like they had a great first corner in any way, shape or form. And we'll give Panic Potato a little bit of an in as well now into this top 5 battle, provided that he can actually find some pace. 3.3 off of the Dark Knight. It'll bring him within about 3 seconds of Lewis. See how that goes. Cameron still behind Perry, and the Jake, who was involved for the top 10 for the first time, has a second penalty, so he's going to struggle a little bit more now. That's a 1.8 behind him. And then Zico, then Dino and Kevin at the back after his spin on the last lap. Panic just gaining a little bit of time on Emery, but not really doing anything to the front 5. Here comes the penalty for Lewis then. 1.5 second penalty for Lewis now, actually. Lewis is going to get taken by the Dark Knight. How close is Panic going to be able to get? 1.5 seconds worth of penalties for Lewis. I think that gap is now within 2.5 seconds. That gap is now within 2.5 seconds between Panic Potato and Lewis. So we'll see how that continues on. Dark Knight has got a second advantage to Lewis now, and also a second behind Millis. We go through. Lewis just back in within a second again. Monkus now had that 2.3 second advantage restored. He should just about 6 tenths of a second slower. That didn't look great either. That looked like falling off the track if you ask me. I don't know if she's going to get penalised, if Misha's going to get penalised for that. I think Misha has got away with it. There's 2.7 now to the lead. 2.9 between Lewis and Panic again, as Panic has just not really got the pace to match the front 5. Emery's also fighting back at this point. You know, Perry ahead of Cameron, and then Jake and Atty are fighting their way through the bus stop chicane here at Watkins Glen. Atty's now looking to that inside line, looking to try and make something happen. Do you have something downloaded? Do you have something? That's my bad. I may or may not have had a muted remote. Didn't realise it. I was in the middle of talking to someone else to make sure that it wasn't me lagging. Apologies for that. Yeah, apologies for that one. Yeah, there's a reason why. If there's a reason why there's a couple of minutes of no comms, that's why. That's my bad. But yeah, Lewis just trying to catch back up to the Dark Knight. I'll get everyone caught up to where we were a couple of minutes ago then. Lewis trying to catch up to the back of the Dark Knight, not really doing too much damage at the moment. The Dark Knight 1 second off the back of Millis. That has realistically been the same for the last couple of laps now. Millis has got within 0.6 of Mishu, dropped to 4.5 seconds now to Monkis at the front, who has really got to grasp with things now. Really got an advantage in this race. I don't think NWR are going to be complaining with an already sizable gap gaining in size. Panic Potato 4 seconds off the back of Lewis, and Emery is not really giving Panic Potato enough time to breathe. That is seemingly why everything is starting to fall out of line for the bottom of the pack now. Perry still ahead of Cameron, who's still ahead of Ate, who's finally got past Jake, who's dropped down to 11th. You're not going to be able to see. I assume it would be a little bit too long ago. The 41.71 would probably assume that it was a penalty on the last lap that did it. Dino in 13th, Kevin still at the back of the field after the spin a couple of laps prior. As we see again, just starting to split into twos at the front now. Monkis still very much in control of this race with Misha followed by Millis. Here we go, Lewis looking back on the Dark Knight. Lewis on the inside has got that done. And he was setting that one up. He's been setting that one up for a lap or two now. And he got himself back in the fourth after the penalty earlier on. The Dark Knight might look to settle into a pit stop now then. And so will Millis. In comes Millis. In comes the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight has a little bit more fuel, so that'll benefit him in the long run. Lewis once again outside of slipstream range. This time it's Misha he's trying to catch. It's a 5.5 second gap at the front of the grid. Wasn't quite expecting pit stops this early on. Emery is second behind Panic now. Panic finally had enough time to Panic finally had enough time to breathe, realistically. They got Cameron and Perry. Perry now looking to the outside. Perry looking to try and follow through on the bus stop chicane. And Cameron has just got himself involved and in front of Perry. Gonna try and hold on ahead of Perry now. And does so beautifully in the end of the first sector. Well, the beginning of the second sector rather. I guess the end of the first sector is at the end of turn 3. Well, Zico in behind that. Zico will be able to help Perry here. 2-on-1 in terms of the team game. This will absolutely be necessary for Project Platypus on what has been a poor start. They need to work together to try and gain themselves some positions here. Dark Knight and Millis obviously after their pit stop, so the Dark Knight actually jumped Millis out. Millis is on soft, so is the Dark Knight. A little bit less fuel in the tank for the GTR. In the blue and white. Compared to the yellow, white and black M6 for the FGR boys. Looking, and I said it before and we'll say it again, they're looking for the three-peat. It's never been done in this server. It has never happened. They are looking for the first. They have not particularly started too great against NWR in particular. They're now going to get themselves in a position to actually run after that. Monkis is out the pits. Misha's gone to another set of softs. Monkis has gone to a soft and 3/4 of the tank. Okay, so Misha is going to try and drag him all the way into a dogfight now then. The Dark Knight also planning to do the same as he takes the lead of the race on net P1, shall I say. And Monkis is in the wall. Monkis bashing the wall on the way out. Millis and the Dark Knight have both gone past. Misha is now going to try and fight as well. And we are now having a four-way fight. Strategy is going to play a massive part here. Don't forget, everyone has to use 2 different compounds of tyres. There is no rain here. There's no saved by the bell situation you can have in GT, especially in the States. This is all a strategy game now. Misha sliding no way out up the hill, and it's not too great being on the being the fourth person in a 4-man train. And the Dark Knight, the one that leads within it. Lewis is into the pits now, out of deal. This is going to be interesting. In comes Perry, I believe. In comes Cameron. I don't know if any of them cut the pit lane there. In comes Zika as well, and Zika has a lot more fuel than Cameron does. The Dark Knight coming around the second to last now, into the last corner. Should be able to beat all of them out. Maybe not including Lewis. We'll see what Lewis has got in the tank. He is out, heading out the pit lane now, but I don't think he's going to be out ahead of the group at the front. He's going to come out in 5th here. You can see the 4 out there. How they exit the pit lane, and Lewis is going to be off by a decent chunk. All of a sudden, he's going to have to fight it back again. 3 seconds now for Lewis, off the back of Mishu, dropped off the back of the 3 at the front. The Dark Knight's been overtaken by Millis, who is overtaken for the lead of the race. Millis is defending well as we head into the bus stop chicane, and Millis now has the advantage. This is perfect for Millis. He's got the Dark Knight a little bit of a buffer. If the Dark Knight can defend Monkis just any tad, then Millis is going to have the chance to drive away. I just wonder how this is going to play out. The front 4 all on their 2-stop at the very least. The Dark Knight sliding his way up the hill. No control on the exit at all. Monkis is going to have him absolutely dead to rights here. This is going to be absolutely nothing he can do. Monkis to the inside. This would be impressive if he can hold this, but he cannot. A little bit of contact between the 2.5 second penalty for the Dark Knight. And the floodgates are open now. I wonder how this is going to play a factor. Misha's going to try and look for their way through now. Is there going to be any sort of movement before the penalty line here for Misha? Dark Knight just sliding a little bit each corner from at the moment. Yeah, it did feel a bit rough, to be honest with you. A little bit of contact that sent him out wide, but that's the game's rules. We have to play by them. Well, we're not going to be able to see anything here. We're going to get a good camera angle elsewhere. Watch him on the chase camera as they head through the night at Watkins Glen. Misha's still doing enough advantage at the moment to really put the pressure on. Looks like, yeah, the Dark Knight's going to have to serve the penalty now. Misha's gone to the inside. Oh, that was bold. I think she's a little bit lucky that the Dark Knight was catching on. I think the Dark Knight just started turning in. He was not aware of the dive that was coming. And Misha with a brilliant move. When you factor in the fact they were done completely, catching the Dark Knight off guard. Caught us a little bit off guard as well. I don't think anyone was expecting that, given the penalty was coming literally after said corner. Misha was not looking away. Already within a second of Monkis. A brilliant move there to try and get Misha back into the top 3, and it did so perfectly. Emery's got a half-second penalty now with Ate right on the back of him. These two both 4.5 seconds off the back of Lewis, who is 3.5 seconds off the back of the front 4. Lewis is just driving a down little race at the moment now then. The top 5, all 2 stopping at the very least. I think Emery and Ate are going to join them. We're going to see if Ate's got anything in the tank here for a move down into the bus stop chicane. Nothing happening there for the Finnish driver. The Italian just coming out on top now. We got a penalty in a couple of corners time that will see Ate past. The real question is there going to be able to, is there going to be any move beforehand? I've very much learned my lesson from Misha. We're not really expecting the move, but if there is one, we'll continue to look at it right up until the penalty line. This should be Ate driving by now then. Emery's going to take the penalty. Ate goes by. Now we can see if there's anything else happening further down. Dino's got a second penalty. That might allow for Jake to try and take advantage. I'm not going to get any sort of advantage to look at that. Dino looking to close it off. Dino just about gets away with that. Holds position on Jake, who looked like he was, well, hurtling down into the corner. Almost went really badly. Perry and Zico on the medium tyres. And at the moment, they're the only 2 that have decided to elect, well, only one of 4 drivers actually that have elected to do this strategy up to this point. Panic Potato leads those 4. With Cameron a second ahead, further out in front. Millis is only 0.2 of a second ahead of Monkis now then. We head into the bus stop chicane. It is brilliant work here from Millis at the moment to stay ahead of Monkis. Half-second penalty for Misha, and that'll bring the Dark Knight back into this then. It might not bring the Dark Knight into this. It'll just split them into 2 groups of 2. And Lewis will just have to sit and wait back a little bit longer. Here comes Misha's penalty then. There's the half-second kicking in. The Dark Knight's not going to get close enough, I don't think. It's going to be close. Dark Knight on the outside. Maybe a switchback attempt to the inside on Misha. Nope, didn't happen. And Misha's going to hold on. After the penalty, Misha not able to be overtaken. It looked like the Dark Knight just starting to get things going again. We got Millis and Monkis at the front of the grid. Let's see if we can see anything from Monkis, who's actually bump drafting Millis along. Just trying to get Millis away from the group behind. That's not as daft as it seems. They've got a couple of seconds advantage on Misha. We've seen that already disappeared once in this race. Don't forget, Monkis was 5 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. Millis moves to the inside to defend. Monkis again getting the back of Millis instead of trying to make a move. Albeit, I don't think that one was intentional. Continue down into the end of Sector 2 now then. Let's see if there's going to be anything in this for Monkis. It looked like he had a significantly better exit than Millis could out of that corner. He's going to go for it now. Well, he's going to at least try and get Millis to think that he's going for it now, and he just could not. Misha still ahead of the Dark Knight. Now it cleared the second again. Lewis 2.2. Further off the back, and then it's Ate ahead of Emery, who's got a half-second penalty, and that won't do any damage at all. Already 3.5 seconds off the back of Ate and 6.5 ahead of Dino, so nothing really going to happen there. See what Cameron is going to do against Jake. We head up the hill. I don't really think Cameron's got much of an opportunity here against Jake. It's P1R just starting to get their groove back together. The Dark Knight in the top 4, Jake in the top 10. Kevin, unfortunately, at the back of the grid at the moment. After his spin earlier on, but did have it going for a long time. Perry and Zico still comfortably off the back of Panic. With obviously the first one on this strategy. Cameron still a little bit too far back on Jake, because Cameron has just gone all sorts of deep. That might be a penalty. Is he going to get penalised for that? No, but Jake is. Jake is going to get a half-second penalty at turn 1. It looked like I would look at the wrong person then. Jake punished Cameron not. And that'll give Jake every opportunity to drop the position of Cameron then at the end of the lap. Cameron has got to get him, keep himself within earshot now of the group. Oh well, the car in front of him that's got a half-second penalty. They can both see Dino just a little bit further up the road as well. There you go, Jake serves it now. Cameron will go on through. And Cameron's up in the 9th. The Lid Racing cabin just starting to make a move forward. Dino 2.5 seconds ahead now then. Comfortably off the back of Emery, who's comfortably off the back of Ate. Lewis is in and round with Misha now then. So Misha must have had another problem on the last lap. Because Misha's now back behind the Dark Knight. Which is obviously exceptional news for P1R, who's now got themselves back onto the podium again. We'll see if there's going to be anything in this for the drivers. That's a half-second penalty for Monkus then. Half-second penalty for Monkus. Millis has rode out the storm potentially. Tyres not much different between the two of them. Has Millis rode it out? That's going to be interesting. That gap's going to jump all the way up over, what, probably about 1.3 seconds here. And it's up over a second, almost to about the 1.3 mark, as I said it would be. And it looks like Monkus is going to have some work to do now then, to catch back up to Millis, who's got an advantage. For the first time today, FGR have a sizable advantage at the front. The Dark Knight had the half-second penalty. That'll bring Misha back into this, and Lewis is flying, trying to get back into the fight. There's the position of the Dark Knight waiting for him in the next lap. NWR again in a very good position, not on their strongest lineup by any means. Misha again sliding the car. But NWR not their strongest lineup by any means, in a position to take advantage again, to extend that gap at the front of the championship just a little bit further. Here we go again, Misha on the Dark Knight. Is there going to be any move? Misha to the inside. Misha does not like to wait. And Misha is up ahead again. Misha needed that. Desperately needed that. The Dark Knight's got a penalty, so all he's going to be able to do is play spoiler for about another couple of corners. Misha needed all the gap that they could get on Lewis here. And Lewis is going to the inside. And again, the Dark Knight on a turn where he's about to suffer a penalty puts up absolutely no fight. I think the Dark Knight needs to be a little bit more aggressive in that final corner before a penalty. You need to use everything you can just to slow down the car you're fighting. Well, what would have been maybe 0.5 of a second at absolute most is now 1.5 seconds. And that becomes a lot harder to deal with. Misha currently 0.5 second up on Lewis. The Dark Knight is into the pits here then. We'll figure out how that, what tyre he's going to go on to in a split second. Monkus 1.2 still behind Millis, who has now got a firm grasp on this race. Misha 3.5 seconds off the back of the front two. Lewis after that. We've got Arte 5 seconds off the back of those two. And then a long way to go before Dino in 6th. Cameron in 7th with a 0.5 second penalty will bring him back to Jake then on the end of this lap. Panic is still 0.4 of a second ahead of, well, 4 seconds behind Jake, 3.5 ahead of Perry now. We've got Zico right behind him and Kevin 4.4 off the back of that. Emery and the Dark Knight have both pit. On to medium tyres, so they're going to go to the end. The undercut is going to be what the Dark Knight is going to attempt to try here. We'll see how well that works out. Perry and Zico will be fighting. They'll work together to try and get Panic. Kaboom's got a penalty, 0.5 second to Cameron. It's going to get drawn back to Jake here. Looks like Jake is going to get well within 0.5 second. But they head into the corner at the end of the penalty line straight with Cameron just still ahead of Dino. Well, of Jake, sorry, with Dino in front of them. Monkus and Millis both into the pits, but look at the amount of fuel that Monkus has in comparison to Millis. And this is where the strategy will flip from earlier on. Monkus is already heading out the pits. Millis has only just started leaving. Lewis and Misha stayed out at least another lap. Same goes for Cameron and Jake. Monkus is heading straight out the pits now, comfortably ahead, with Panic Potato right there and thereabouts with the one stop. I think Panic was a little bit deep there. Panic has got a shot, or had a shot, until that penalty was given to him. The strategy had almost played right into the hands of the one-stoppers for a split second then. Panic is under fire now though. Zico and Perry ahead of Millis, and Millis is a long way back from Monkus now. 24.2 for Monkus. Let's have a look at what Millis is. 29.6 is a 6-second advantage all over again for Monkus. It's about roughly what he had at the beginning of the last stint. Or the end of the last stint, sorry. That's going to be a problem. A huge problem now. Kevin also doing a good job. Dark Knight is still ahead of everyone else who's elected to pit. Emery's going to have a problem with Dino, however. Emery's going to have a massive problem with Dino. Dino's on softs. Emery is not. Misha now into the pits. Emery's got a penalty, so let's see how long it's going to take here for Dino to blast on by. If they can at all. Down the inside, down the outside, rather. Dino is going to go straight past Emery. And there you go, Emery just starting to struggle a little bit now though. Dino on the softs, starting to make their way forward. Misha coming out of the pits now. I can only assume this is a medium tyre. It is a medium tyre. You see the two drivers for Project Platypus just drive off into the distance there. Misha is out behind Millis and ahead of Kevin. Comfortably ahead of the Dark Knight. all of a sudden think they are very interesting. So Monkeys is ahead of Panic. Okay, we can safely assume it's going to the end. I wonder where everyone comes now. I would assume that Miller still gets second from this. Don't forget we've had a few people undercut already. We'll see if there's anything in this then for a couple of these drivers. Perry and Zico still half a second split for each other. And they have got to work together here. They are the one that really could bottleneck this entire group. If they do this right. I say that if they do this right because Millis is storming on from behind them. Which will become a problem sooner rather than later. At 1.3 seconds hasn't come down too much recently. Monkeys has a 4-second advantage to Panic Potato. He's actually catching up to Cameron and Jake again, who haven't pit yet. I assume there's pit, yeah, there will be pit stops for these two coming up. I can only assume it's a soft tyre going on both of these cars. As we continue on in this race. Lewis also still out with a half-second penalty to serve now then. Can only assume he's coming in at the end of this lap or the next. A half-second penalty is going to set him back some way. Don't forget, everyone elected to start on the soft tyre. We'll see if there's going to be anything. We'll see when Lewis comes out at the end of the lap. I think he's coming in now. I don't really see a reason to stay out any further, to be honest with you. Really don't see any reason to actually try and stay out. Nope, never mind. He's actually stayed out the lap longer. Okay, so I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Say that one more. 1:46.8. Not particularly. I mean, it is 0.8 of a second quicker than the lap prior. Not great. We'll see what the plan is. Cameron is into the pits now. Monkus had gone by him just prior anyway. Millis is still not really making any sort of dents. He has got within half a second now, sorry. But still no moves. He's going to have to find a way past Zico eventually, otherwise this is going to become problematic very quickly. Millis being caught up is best case scenario for Monkeys. This could not be going any better. Miller's still right behind Zico and Perry in this fight. Panic Potato's actually been drawn into it as well now as well. Perry has got a good run going. As it stands, there is a chance for a podium here for Project Platypus after a tragic start. Still got about 12.5 laps to go. A long way to see if we're going to get any sort of movement here. Any sort of movement on with Miller. See, he looks to the inside of Zico. He could have gone for it there, but he's left it late. He just got caught 50-50 there. I do believe that's what we call a half-hearted move. Almost losing the car on the exit of the following corner as well. Look at that. That was almost disastrous for Millis in a space, in a two-corner space. Lewis is now heading out the pits. Not going to be our Monkeys, not going to be our Panic Potato. Not entirely sure he's going to be out much of anybody. Here comes Millis to the inside. On Zico! gets it done. Forces Zico off the track to do so. I think Zico's going to get a penalty for that. Yeah, he hasn't been penalised for that somehow. He's going to fight this back potentially against Millis. I'm not entirely sure why he drifted so far. He could have used the slipstream to try and make a move. He elected not to make a move. Try and keep on the back of Millis for as long as possible then. Millis has finally started making his way through. Taken far too long. Realistically, if you're Millis and you're FGR, but he's finally starting to make it work. Looks like Panic Potato is at the front, just starting to bottleneck just a little bit. Monkus has actually taken on-track lead of the race as well now. Jake's got a second penalty, but I assume he's coming in at the end of this lap. There's a penalty to go on. Penalty to go on the next lap for him. And also a pit stop now. Let's see where he comes out then. That might be a bit deep. That might have been a bit deep. That's going to play with fire a little bit. Panic Potato's got a half-second penalty. He dives into the pits. Oh, that's interesting. I thought Panic was going to the end. Well, things get a lot more interesting now as Millis goes to the inside and gets second place. And just like that, for Millis looking like he was struggling to barely even get to second, he is second in the matter of 3 corners. Just like that, rounding 2 Project Platypus driver, then Panic goes into the pits. Here comes Perry again. Perry not fighting that back as hard as I thought he would. But, as of right now, with about 10 laps to go, Project Platypus are in fair contention for 3-4. See what Misha's doing. 1.7 seconds off the back of Zico and Perry. And then you've got the Dark Knight after that. Then Kevin, then Lewis, who is in 8th and has really, really botched this strategy, I reckon. And has got damage. Oh, he's got damage. How did anything happen to him here? Oh, it happened before the bus stop. Well, it happened around about the bus stop chicane then, I'm guessing, because we can't get a good visual on it. Well, that's a problem for Lewis now then. Just bring him into this little facet a little bit more, and he doesn't want to be here. Promise you that much. Penalty for Jake. Penalty for Panic. Henry's going to get away. And Cameron's going to have a good shot at this. Well, Cameron, how far is Cameron back now then? Looks like about 1.5 seconds off the back of Jake. Again, Jake looked a little bit wide there. Don't really know if he's going to be able to do much about this. He hasn't got a penalty, so I guess he could take that as a display of the fact that he managed to keep it in bounds. Lewis still fighting heavily against Ate. Oh, Ate's got a penalty! Ate's got a penalty, and any chance he had of just trying to chip away, and Lewis has just fallen by the wayside then with that penalty as we head down the hill, well, up the hill rather, toward the bus stop chicane with Kevin in front of Lewis and Ate. Kevin's done an exceptional job up to this point of trying to hide himself in with this pack. The problem is, guys, he hasn't got enough fuel to go to the end. Probably going to be wishing he had. And it's going to come back to bite him in the long run. Ate's going to have a run here. Well, he's going to have a penalty to serve, which will negate the run he had. He'll serve his penalty. He'll drop out the second range now then. With Lewis right. Oh my god, that was a camera angle's worst nightmare. With the, let's see if there's going to be any move here for Lewis then. Looking for a little switch to the inside. Kevin has done a fantastic job of just putting his car exactly where he needed to be, and he's forced an error from Lewis. It's going to bring Ate straight back into this. That was well defended by Kevin. He just flat out was well defended by the Dutchman. We'll see if there's anything for Lewis. He's going to have a run now. Kevin got a dodgy turn one. Lewis is going to have a run now. Lewis round the outside and in front of Kevin. As Kevin had defended so well, just needed to get one more good exit, couldn't do it. And now Lewis is going to have advantage over Kevin for now. Kevin on the inside of the bus stop chicane, however, can just close him off. Will do, but Lewis is going to hang on. Ate's going to go through the hole. Ate's going to get past Kevin. Well, that was well played from Ate to make the move, pick the hole when he needed to. Lewis is going to be under fire now. Oh look, Misha is up ahead of Zico, 1.2 seconds. Then Perry dropped back behind his teammate as well. There goes the podium hopes. Misha easily can go to the end from here. I'd be surprised if Misha did not. Miller's looking for that, well, to get rid of that penalty realistically. 2 seconds clear of Misha right now. That's going to come down to about 1.2. The penalty zone takes away about 8-9 of a second. Realistically, when you hit it. Monk is 12.5 seconds up the road. Not gone entirely his way today. But I think he's not going to complain with this final step, to be completely honest. He has just started to really go in the direction of NWR. The good news here, however, for FGR, I guess, sorry, is that Lewis has really not really, well, been able to get any sort of grasp on this final stint. He's currently stuck in 7th, fighting at it. Damage is not going to be too severe. Nisha is closing in on the car in front, however. Let's see if the Dark Knight can also get past both Project Platypus cars. It would be a great day at the office for Project 1 Racing if he can. Don't forget they're the only team in with 3 in Lobby A today. The only team. Not even championship leaders can actually say that's the case. Inkyo wasn't able to do it for NWR. It's one big qualifying. It's an entirely different thing to actually have to race for 37 laps around this track and be consistent each time. And now he's finding himself in a position that he has to get past the Project Platypus drivers. Lewis will start to close this gap down, so he's on a timer realistically. That is only 4 tenths of a second behind Lewis, so if one starts to close it down, they'll both start to close it down. And again, one error, one move, wrong move, a penalty or something can still swing this. It is very heavily on the balance. Ate just trying to get as close to Lewis as he possibly can. He can get a good run, he'll have a launch. If he can have a good run, he'll have a look as well. He is within a 10.5 now. He's got the run. He's got what he needs. There's an opportunity for him here. He's side by side to head up the hill. And that's ahead of Lewis. Well, that was a very good first sector for Ate. Up ahead of the NWR driver now then. And that'll limit the damage even further. Perry has been overtaken by the Dark Knight now then. The Dark Knight is going to go right after Zico straight away. They look to try and get fourth. Well, we know Misha and Millis are not that far away from each other as well. FGR needs Millis to stay in second. He gets beat by Monkers, that's acceptable, but if he doesn't get second, it becomes a bigger problem. Because FGR can't have their eyes on anything other than that three-peat. There we go. Dark Knight just trying to get the same run we saw Ate get against Lewis on the last lap. He's going to get a good shot at it. He's got a run. He's definitely got a chance. He'll go looking as well up the hill. Down towards the end of the first sector now then. He peers to the inside. He's got a run. He's got a place. Zico is not going to fight it. And the Dark Knight is up in a fourth. We've got penalties in the background. It is Ate with a half second. It's Lewis with a half second. Perry's going to get a reprieve. Jake has got a run now as well on Emery. Panic Potato's got a half second. Emery's going to just about hang on for dear life. The main fighting chance for ITM to stay in that top 5. Here's Emery today, and Emery has actually put in a little bit of a shift. Has been doing a lot more defending than they have attacking, and this is another showing of it. To the inside, defending goes Emery. I think Panic Potato may have just launched one to the inside as well, trying to go through a hole that cannot exist because he's got a penalty. So we're going to go further forward up the hill. Jake trying to get Emery again. Doesn't try into the end of the penalty straight. You have got to imagine the opportunity will open up. Oh, and Jake has just got straight into the side of Emery. And that is a push to pass if I've ever seen one. Emery's going to feel a little bit of grief there, I reckon. He's also going to bring Panic Potato into this. Into the fight for the top 10. Panic Potato's got a run. Panic Potato's got an exceptional run on the inside now. On the inside of turn 3. Panic Potato launched himself out of turn 1. Is there any sort of closing on the deal, so to speak, here for Panic Potato? These two side by side up the hill, and Emery has done a good job to defend that. That looked lost the entire way up the hill. It turns out it was never lost. Emery asking for the ambulance, but it's not for him. Jake's got a half-second penalty now, so all the work he just did to get back in front of Emery or try and clear some gap is just going to fall by the wayside. Panic! I maybe left a little bit of something in on Emery there. Not entirely sure. We're going to get a second view of it. I don't know if Panic Potato left anything in on Emery. He came from a long way back. Oh yeah, I did just leave a little bit of something in on the inside of that car. I don't know. I think Emery's going to have a little bit of have a time in the stewards room sooner rather than later. We'll go back to the front in a split second once we deal with this battle here. I think Emery has just lost a little bit of ground, and the half-second penalty will put that to bed then. Lewis is right beside, in front of Ate again. So Lewis has got past the FGR driver. That's big news for NWR. I can imagine that Ate's not going to go down quietly, however. The only good news for Lewis is that Perry directly in front of him will give him enough of a tow to bring Ate's chances to a slim chance of getting by again. 9/10 of a second now split those two. Perry's going to be under fire from Lewis sooner rather than later. Zico's in front of that. The Dark Knight's got a half-second penalty. going to be fairly driving in for the rest of the race by himself now. Misha is 6/10 of a second behind Miller, as Monkis is 15 seconds up the road. And it gives you a state of play here. Monkis for NWR leading the race as NWR look to go back to back to back in terms of winning races. That has happened before. It has happened from Project Platypus, another team in this lobby before. Puts them in esteemed company when it comes to that kind of statistic. That's a certain. It doesn't make them an only. Go through for Miller, still ahead of Misha. Misha is looking right now to try and snatch second from the clutch of the FGR. The point difference isn't massive between the two positions, but it will be enough to extend that gap for NWR even further. I think Richard may have been the last one to gain a Pegasus podium. I'm not going to lie, I think Yannick can correct me if I'm wrong in that statement, but I'm pretty sure the last podium from Pegasus in Lobby A came from Richard a long time ago. We continue on with a long, well, we've still got a couple of laps to try and fix that issue then. Misha looking to be the first one in, what, easily 5 or 6 seasons then, to be on the podium for Pegasus. Well, Misha's trying to go after Miller, of all people. The second in command at FGR, realistically. Yeah, I definitely was on my 2025 bingo card to see FGR and Pegasus fight for a Lobby A podium. Well, Lobby A second place, rather. They're both going to be on the podium unless someone makes a massive error and they'll hand it to the Dark Knight. Would literally have to be on a plate. Looks like Misha just starting to drop off a little bit. The process, here comes Zico and Ate. Ate's going to go the long way round on Zico. These two know each other very well. And it looks like Zico's going to win that fight for just a little while longer. Lewis is up in the 5th, so Ate needs this position as well. Just to keep NWR arm's reach. Here we go, Ate to the outside. We've seen Zico be in this position before. Zico's actually done exceptionally well after his reset early on in the day, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's going to make it to the end of that medium tyre. That's going to be rough at the end of the race, that's a certain. Lewis has got a second penalty. Lewis has got a second penalty, so that might be interesting to see. Come the end of the lap. Jake still ahead of Panic Potatoes, ahead of Cameron, Emery on 12th, Kevin 13th, Dino at the back of the grid has not had a good day at the office. Well, he's not anymore. He's got a second penalty. He is definitely not catching him in any way, shape or form. He is definitely not catching him. If anything, Ate's got a bigger chance. Ate finally got past Zico in the last couple of corners. We're not going to have a look and see how that happened. I assume that just happened down the back straight. The Dark Knight will be safe now from Lewis. Unless something massive happens. Zico 1 second off the back now. Is anyone else in with a chance? And the only one left is Millicent and Misha then. As we head on to turn 1 of lap 37 of 37. With Monkis 15 seconds up the road. No doubt in who's going to win this race. Perry! Oh no. Perry left the room with a lap to go. Oh, I'm going to have to figure out how that's recorded. Pretty sure he was in 8th. I'm pretty sure there was no sign of anyone catching him either. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to get reinstated that position or not. You got Millis and Misha. Misha, if they're going to get it, it's going to have to be late. It's going to have to be very late. And realistically, they've only got one more chance to get it. Down this straight, it's going to be all or nothing for Misha to try and get Millis. And I don't think she's going to get there. I think that's all Millis's now. We're going to go to the front because it is going to be 4 from 4. Well, 3 from 3. Next week will be 4 from 4 if they keep on going the way they're going. 3 from 3 as Monkeys wins. And that is another one on the board for NWR. The Burgundy Red strikes again. And they win in the States for the second time this season. Millis to the line now then. And they go. And then second for FGR. Misha will get Pegasus' first podium since Richard a long time ago. The Dark Knight will get over in 4th. Lewis can only settle for 5th. Ate going to get in for 6th. Zico gets 7th. There's going to be queries on whether or not Jake will get 8th or 9th. I'll get that one for you guys as soon as I can. Panic will get over in 9th on the track. With Cameron in 10th. Henry in 11th. And Kevin in 12th. And Dino rounding out the field. Misha on the podium for Pegasus is the massive headline of the day. Pegasus' first podium in multiple seasons. And what a day it has been for those guys. Not a team you see in Lobby A very often, but if they're in Lobby A today, they have made their name for it. You got FGR and NWR, the normal culprits, second and first. An extension of the gap again for NWR in Lobby A anyway. We'll wait and see how Inkyo did against Fresh Dumbledore. But we'll see if that is an actual extension or not. But either way, the damage hasn't been done too much. A 40-point gap probably won't extend over a 50-point gap at absolute most. They've done a decent job of keeping them on length. But NWR through 3, at the halfway point of the elimination phase anyway, in a very good position to try and stop FGR three-peating. It is a very good chance that NWR look to put their name up in lights for the first time. But with everything being said, first race of the Laguna Seca, we had one at Watkins Glen today. We stay in the States next week. And we actually go to a track that has not been done in a proper ALR season. It's been done in an endurance race season, in a side series, never done on a Monday or Esports, and that is Grand Valley. That is a new track to everyone, so we're going to have to be a little bit patient next week. Not new track to everyone, but new track to ALR in particular. You have to be a little bit patient next week. But, with that being said, I'd like to say thank you everyone for showing up. Don't forget to like, enjoy, do all that stuff if you enjoyed. And don't forget to join us same time next week, 8 PM sharp, on ALR's YouTube channel for a couple hours around Grand Valley. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace.